The last exit. Every single box packed in my car was a piece of my old life. I had put everything I owned into my car. I was driving toward a new city and a new future with the woman I loved. The long highway stretched out in front of me like a gray ribbon. It was the path that was leading me to my new beginning. I felt a mix of pure excitement and a little bit of nervousness. Her name was Emma. I had met her about a year ago, and she had completely changed my world. I believed our love story was the kind that people wrote epic books about. For her, I had quit my stable job back home. I had said very difficult goodbyes to my friends. I had left the only city I had ever really known. It was a grand romantic gesture. I told myself that these were just small sacrifices for a great love. I was investing everything I had into our shared future. I had no serious doubts about my big decision. The sun was shining brightly, and my favorite music was playing on the car radio. It felt like the entire world was celebrating this perfect sunny day with me. It was a new start. As the miles continued to pass, I thought about our future together. The beautiful apartment she had found for us. The new, exciting life we were going to build. It all seemed perfect, but sometimes your mind has its own separate plans. A small, unwelcome memory floated up from my past. I tried to push it away, but it stayed there for a moment. I remembered the time she had picked out my suit for a friend's party. She had insisted that my own choice of clothing was not appropriate. I thought she was just being helpful then. Another memory followed that one. The time she planned our entire vacation without asking me for my opinion. She said it was easier if one person just made all the decisions. I remembered all the small moments that I had willingly ignored. The little red flags that I had painted white inside my own mind. I told myself that I was being too sensitive. I had convinced myself that her controlling nature was just a sign of her confidence. I believed that her constant criticism was just her way of trying to help me be better. I had told myself that this was what a serious relationship was like. It was about making compromises for each other. And I was always happy to be the one to compromise. I shook my head and turned up the volume of the music. I did not want to think about these negative things right now. Today was supposed to be a very happy day. The future was the only thing that mattered, and my future was with Emma. I focused on the road ahead and the promise of her smile when I finally arrived. After 6 long hours of driving on the highway, I finally saw the sign. Welcome to Northwood City. A huge wave of relief and happiness washed over me. I was finally here. The city skyline started to appear in the distance. It was a beautiful and impressive sight. This was my new home. This was the place where my perfect life would begin. I knew I was only about 15 minutes away from her apartment building. My heart started to beat a little bit faster with anticipation. I decided to give her a quick call. I wanted to hear her excited voice on the other end of the line. I wanted to hear her say that she could not wait to see me. I imagined her waiting by her window. I connected my phone to the car's hands-free system. I found her name in my contacts list, and I pressed the call button. The phone rang twice before she answered. "Hello," she said. Her voice was not what I had been expecting at all. There was no excitement or warmth. It was cool, calm, and a little bit distant, like her business voice. "Hey, it's me," I said, trying to keep my own voice cheerful and bright. "I just passed the city limits sign. I should be there in about 15 minutes. I can't wait." "Good. You are on time," she replied, her voice flat and emotionless. It was not the loving greeting I had hoped for. It sounded like I was a package she was expecting. A small, cold feeling started to form deep in my stomach. I tried to ignore it. Maybe she was just busy getting things ready. I was probably just overthinking things. "I see a lot of red lights up ahead," I told her, trying to make conversation. "The traffic is a little heavy, so I might be a few minutes later than I originally thought." "Don't be late," she said, and her voice was suddenly very sharp. "I have plans with my friends this evening. I need you here on time so you can unload your boxes." Her words truly surprised me. She had made plans with her friends. On the night I was moving my entire life across the country just to be with her, it felt very strange. "Oh," I said, and this time I could not hide the disappointment in my voice. "I was thinking that maybe we could spend evening together, to celebrate." "We will have plenty of time for that later, Leo," she said with clear impatience. "Just follow the GPS to the apartment. I will buzz you in when you get here." Then she started giving me a series of very specific instructions. Where to park my car, which building entrance I should use, how to stack my boxes so they were not in her way. She spoke like a manager who was giving orders to a new employee. There was no love or partnership in her voice. There was only control and a clear set of expectations. I listened in complete silence as she continued to talk. The cold feeling in my stomach was growing much stronger now. The happy music on the radio felt like a sad joke. Every single word she said was like a small key, and these keys were unlocking all the little doubts and worries that I had locked away in my mind for the past year. I thought about the way she always had to be right in every discussion, the way she often dismissed my feelings as unimportant, the way my life had slowly started to revolve around her. I was so focused on the dream of our perfect future that I had been blind. I was blind to the reality of our present. The reality was that I was not her equal partner. Then, as she was still giving me instructions, I heard another voice. It was one of her friends speaking in the background. Her friend was laughing about something. "Just a second," Emma said to me, her voice still full of annoyance. Then she covered the phone with her hand, but not very well. I could still hear her clearly. I heard her talking and laughing with her friend. I heard her friend ask if I was really leaving my whole life behind just to move to this city to be with her. I heard Emma laugh again. It was not her beautiful, happy laugh that I loved. It was a cold, mocking laugh that I had never, ever heard before. It was a terrible sound. "Of course he is," she said to her friend with a triumphant, proud tone. "He would do anything that I say. Finally, everything is going according to my terms." The line went quiet for a second. Then she came back on the phone with me. "Okay, I'm back now," she said. "So, as I was saying, you will need to—" But I was not listening to her words anymore. I could not hear them. The only thing I could hear was her cold, mocking laughter, replaying over and over in my mind, according to my terms. That single phrase was like a bolt of lightning. It lit up every dark corner of our relationship. It showed me the truth I had been avoiding. All the small doubts, all the ignored red flags, all the sacrifices. They were not sacrifices I made for love. They were concessions in a negotiation I did not know I was in. I looked up at the bright green highway signs above me. The exit for her street was just ahead. The GPS on my dashboard was telling me to prepare to turn right. I thought my whole future was on that street. But it was not the future I had been dreaming of for all these months. It was a future where I had no voice at all. It was a future where my life would not be my own. It would be a life that was lived according to her terms. It was not a home. It was a beautiful, elegant cage. The GPS voice spoke again, calm and digital. "In 200 feet, turn right." My entire body was tense. This was the most important decision of my entire life. My hands were tight on the steering wheel. My knuckles were white. The car continued to move forward, getting closer and closer to the point of no return. Her mocking laughter echoed in my head. According to my terms, the phrase was a verdict. It was the final judgment on a trial I did not even know was happening. I saw a flash of all the small moments of control. The suit she chose, the vacation she planned, the friends she did not approve of. They were not small things at all, they were bricks. and she had been using them to build a wall around me, a wall that I had foolishly helped her construct with my own hands and my own silence. The love I felt was real, but it was for a person who did not exist. I was in love with a dream, a beautiful illusion. The real person was a stranger on the phone, a stranger who saw me as a victory, a stranger who saw my love as a tool for her own control. I was not a partner to her. I was just a possession she had finally acquired. The exit ramp was right there in front of me now. It was a smooth, easy path leading off the highway. It was the path to the life I thought I wanted. All I had to do was turn the wheel. It was so simple. Just a small movement of my hands would seal my fate. It would mean accepting the beautiful cage. I could still do it. I could still turn. I could pretend I did not hear what she said. I could live in denial and call it love. It would be the easier choice to make, but I knew I could not do that. Her words had shattered the illusion forever. I could not unhear that laugh. I could not unknow the truth about her. The truth was that I was driving toward a life where I would be small, a life where my own dreams and desires would always come second to hers, a life on her terms. Was that what I wanted? Did I leave my entire life behind for that? To become a supporting character in someone else's story? The answer was a loud, clear no in my heart. The fear of being alone was huge. The thought of having no plan, no home, and no job was terrifying. But the fear of losing myself was even bigger. I looked at the boxes in my passenger seat. My whole life was in this car. And I realized that I could unpack that life anywhere I wanted. It was still mine. My freedom was more valuable than her conditional love. My own voice was more important than her controlling plans. I had a choice to make, right here, right now. The car was just feet away from the exit. The GPS voice was urgent now. Turn right now. It was the final command. A command I had to choose to obey or to ignore. In that last possible second, a strange calm washed over me. The storm in my mind went quiet. I knew exactly what I had to do. It was the hardest and easiest decision of my life. My hands did not turn the wheel. I kept them straight. My foot did not lift from the gas pedal. I kept my car moving forward in its own lane. I drove straight past the exit for her street. I saw it pass by in my peripheral vision. It was a future that was dying in my rearview mirror with every passing second. The GPS on my dashboard started recalculating frantically. Rerouting, it said, its digital voice full of confusion. But I was not lost. I was finally finding my way. Emma was still talking on the phone. She was probably giving me more instructions, but I was not listening. I reached out and pressed the end call button. I disconnected the line without saying another word. No angry speech. No sad goodbyes. I just hung up the phone on her and on the future she had planned for me. A huge wave of relief washed over me. It was so powerful it felt like a physical force. It was mixed with a deep, painful sadness for the dream that had died. Tears started to stream down my cheeks. I was crying for the love I thought I had. And I was crying because, for the first time, I felt truly free. I did not know where I was going. I had no destination. My whole life was in boxes, and my future was a complete and total blank page. And that was okay. The highway stretched on in front of me. It was no longer a path to her. It was now a path to somewhere else. A path to a future I would create on my own terms. The sun was starting to set in front of me. It painted the sky with beautiful colors of orange and pink. It was the first sunset of my new, unknown life. I kept driving with no plan at all. I would find a small motel to sleep in for the night, and tomorrow I would decide what to do next. The choice was mine. For the first time in a very long time, no one was telling me what to do. There were no expectations, no conditions, no terms. There was only the open road. I was alone in a car full of my past, driving toward a completely unknown future. And I was not scared anymore. I was the driver of my own life again. I finally understood what real love was. It was not about control or about winning. It was about partnership. It was about wanting the other person to be free. And I understood what real strength was. It was not about making sacrifices for a bad situation. It was about having the courage to walk away from it. I passed another sign. This one said, "All roads ahead." I smiled through my tears. It felt like a message from the universe, a confirmation of my choice. I did not know what my future held, but I knew it would be a future I designed myself. It would be a life that was built on my own terms, and that was a future worth driving toward. I turned the music back on, and I kept my eyes on the road ahead. I was driving toward myself. I hope this session was helpful. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting stories. Take care, everyone.